Today we're going to talk about why you always feel tired no matter how many hours you sleep. If you're new here, my name's Dr. Aku and I'm on a mission to help people feel less burnt out and more in control. So what's going on here? Why am I feeling so tired? Now this is because people confuse the causes of tiredness. There's two causes of tiredness. Number one is your physiological reasons. These are the reasons that everyone's really commonly aware of. Now the second cause is the psychological reasons. Now this is like when you need to take the bins out and you just look at the bins and you're like, you just get this sudden acute feeling of tiredness, even though you haven't actually moved anywhere. You've got all your hours of sleep, but just by looking at the activity, you get this massive exhaustion feeling. So your next question might be, okay Aku, how do we actually get rid of this emotion? If I can get rid of this emotion, then I can just continue doing my tasks of my day and so I can be productive. But that would actually be your first mistake in your logical reasoning. What we need to understand is tiredness is an emotion, and emotions aren't necessarily good or bad in the abstract. Emotions are just information. It's your body's way of trying to tell you something. These are just signals your body's creating for yourself. Now the question you need to ask yourself is, why do you feel tired from this task? Why is it that when I look at my rota and I see that I'm working with this colleague, or I have this boss or this supervisor coming in on this day, why do I get a sudden burst of just tiredness? What is this emotion telling me? Now 10,000 years ago, when our ancestors used to hunt for prey, that would make them feel tired. And that's understandable because it's physical exertion. But nowadays, we're feeling tired just from scrolling on our phone 12 hours a day. We're getting tired hunting for Wi-Fi instead of hunting for prey. So what's going wrong there? So our ancestors, we're talking about 10,000 to 50,000 years ago, they had two main issues. Number one was they have to hunt for prey. This is so they have food. And number two is they had to run away from predators, and this would be for survival. So first let's talk about hunting for our prey. So back in the day we had to get food somehow, and so we would kill animals and eat them. And we would have to run after our prey. We would actually have to put effort to getting them. Now while we're running and trying to get this prey, this would activate our hypothalamus, which is part of our brain. Now this part of the brain is a center for energy conservation and fatigue. So if we keep running after this prey, this hypothalamus will indicate to us, take a break. Because if we keep using all this energy behind running after this prey, we will have no energy left for ourselves. This will lead to us being more vulnerable to predators. It was essentially nature's way of telling us is, hey buddy, please don't die today. Nowadays, to have a break, we would binge Netflix. During the evening and night time, people don't necessarily just go to bed. There's so many things to do. We have nightclubs, we have cinemas, we have arcade games. We are constantly hyperactivating that hypothalamus section of our brain. Now, the longer this hypothalamus stays activated, this means that we're not able to truly rest and we always feel tired. Now, this is only one part of the equation, because even if you relax the hypothalamus, that doesn't mean you'll get tiredness to go away. We need to talk about the second issue our ancestors always felt, which was actually running away from the predators. Now, although our ancestors used to hunt for animals for food, animals used to hunt us as well. And so we had to run away from predators back in the day, and this would actually activate the amygdala. Now, this is part of the brain which leads to our adrenal glands releasing more cortisol, and this would be the stress response. Now this is really good in stressful situations where we want to have quick reactions, or for in this instance, actually running away from the predator. Now the issue is, in our modern day, this cortisol is just constantly elevated due to various things we do day to day. So our cortisol levels, or our stress response, is raised not because we're running away from predators now, it's because we're running away from other things. We're running away from emails. We're running away from meetings. And so this cortisol level, if it's constantly elevated due to all this stuff, it actually leads to chronic fatigue. Have you ever had those moments where all day you've just been doing meetings? You haven't actually moved around, you haven't physically exerted yourself, you've just been in meetings back to back, and you just feel so tired, even though you actually haven't done anything physically. So the way to solve this is we need to schedule downtime in our day. Now, what do I mean by this? So throughout the day, you want to take out some time, maybe 5 minutes, to just be able to take a break. This helps us reduce our amygdala activation, helps us reduce cortisol levels. And now it's really important on what we do in this break. Not the duration of the break, but the intention of the break. We don't want to just pick up our phone and start scrolling social media. That defeats the purpose. Now, ideally on our break, what we want to do is we want to go on a walk outside. So studies suggest that when we're out in nature, we have less stimuli. And this actually helps us reduce our cortisol levels and reduce the activation of our amygdala. And so we need something more practical we can incorporate day to day. So what we can do to actually mimic the effect of reducing these stress hormones is we can do some mindfulness activities. Now, one of the activities that I've looked into is called a box method. Now, the idea behind the box method is you want to breathe in for 4 seconds. Then you want to hold it for 4 seconds. Then you want to exhale for 4 seconds. And then you want to hold for 4 seconds. So by performing this mindfulness activity, again, we get to reduce our activation of our amygdala and we get to reduce our cortisol levels. If you found this helpful, I'm going to be doing more deep dives under emotions. So if you're interested and don't want to miss out on future videos, hit the subscribe button down below. I'd also love it if you could comment down below if there's any day-to-day struggles that you are facing that you want me to address or make videos on. So take care of yourself and remember, even small steps can make a big difference. Take care. Bye-bye.